Hi everyone, this is Tanmay Banerjee. Welcome to my channel Text Know How. So herein we are again with the new video where we are going to complete the previous thing which we have left at some point, that is about variables. So as I've said, there will be a part 2, so this is the part 2 for that variables. So let's start. Now we have known that data types gives much more information, right? So before getting into that, we will just try to understand how our memory looks. Okay, that is the RAM looks. The RAM is, first of all, the entire memory is divided into two parts, that is stack memory, and the next one is called as heap memory, right? Now both of these memories does look like something which is pointing to, that is a memory block which is divided into different sectors. Now this is divided in parts of 16 bits, that makes 2 bytes, so 2 bytes of each memory slots. Now these are given as index, like the positioning, right? As you can see, hash 1001, 1002 and all. So these numbers can be a huge number, right? Because such type of memory slots of 2 bytes each, think about a memory of 8 GB RAM, right? So now 2 bytes of memory slots making 8 GB is a huge number. So this index is also increases with that many slots. So these index numbers will be corresponding to that many slots in the memory. So when the number is huge, you cannot remember, or remembering such numbers is not an easy task, right? So that's why we give it a name which we can remember, right? So that name corresponds to this index with which we identify that particular memory location. So I wanted to discuss this a bit. I left over in the previous video, so I've covered it in this video. So identifier comes, like, that's why we name it as identifier. We identify that particular memory slot with certain variable names, and that variable name is known as, given a terminology as, identifier. Okay, so now let's get into the thing which is known as scope. As I've said earlier, that scope is something that decides how long the variable or the container lives in the RAM, the lifespan of that variable, right? So there is some concept called as local variables and global variables. When you say global variable, that variable, the value in it will be required within the entire program. So as you can see, the below linear line which tries to explain the program execution time. So during this entire program execution, you might require a variable and some value in it. So those values are termed as global variables. Okay, we declare it globally so that anyone can access it. First of all, from anywhere you can access it, and it should remain alive for the entire program execution time. Now local variables are something you might know that for some particular statements you might require that variable, and then that variable becomes of no use. So those variables we term it as local variables, right? Now why I have shown this memory, so that you understand it much more better. When you declare a local variable, it gets directly stored into stack memory. Now stack works in first in first out or last in last out, in such either of these manners, right? So you have inserted first 10 and then you have inserted 20, right? So whenever you try to access, you need to first access 20 and then 10, so you're performing addition. Now the 20 is first accessed, and then the plus operator is applied, and then 10 is accessed, and then 10 is added with 20. So that's how stack memory works. And heap memory has no working criteria. Like, heap means heap, the name suggests it is a heap of like memory locations. So these global variables are always declared in heap memory, right? Because they need to live for the entire program execution time. Stack memory variables, which are local variables, when you declare local variables, they directly get assigned a memory slot from stack. They get used and they get destroyed, right? So when you know that this variable is to be used for some particular time, you declare it as local. So thus, by doing this, we enhance the program execution. For now, it would be much better to understand of this sort of words, but further we can get much deeper into this. So that's what all about scope, and as and when we do get into some examples, we will be understanding it much more clear. We will get much more clear with this understanding. So that's all for this video. Hope you are doing well. If you like the video, press the like button, click on subscribe, and have a great day. Be safe, stay happy. Thank you.